You totally missed your cue.
I was drinking some Diet Coke. Hey, everybody. That's a Diet Coke Sunday, not a Dr. Pepper Sunday.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I got a couple in the fridge, though.
Hey,
but I'm
and,
having coffee right now.
I normally have my orange
It's a
soda.
National Coffee Day Sunday.
It is National Coffee Day? Well, I'm having novel coffee right now.
Okay.
Literally.
Still not a supporter of the program, right?
No, they're not a sponsor.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, sort of. I work for Novel, and then I
Okay.
provide all of this gear.
Is that like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
I don't understand that. Hey, anybody.
7 degrees of Kevin's bacon, of his bacon.
Yes.
Welcome to How to Be a Texan, folks. Today...
What was that all about, anyway? We should just start the whole thing over.
No, this is quality content.
Okay. All right, let's keep rolling.
You just dropped a bomb on me. Cut it out. So today we're going to talk about some person that Kevin and I have an affinity for, and it's Carol Burnett.
What?
I know. Carol
Burnett?
Yeah, why would we talk about her?
She from Texas?
She is.
Holy crap.
Yeah, you know that because you
Should've
told
known.
me.
Yeah, that's right. I
You're
just
asking
like
me a
mug it
redundant
up.
question.
I'm just trying to make it interesting at the beginning of the show here.
So, Carol...
You don't have to reveal all of our secrets, man.
Well, eventually that's the point of the podcast. So today we thought we'd talk about a great Texan, and Carol Burnett's not generally identified as a Texan, and I think you just said that's a huge oversight, right?
I think it is. Yeah.
I do too.
I looked up famous comedians from Texas. There's a whole Wikipedia page on it.
Yeah.
She's not mentioned anywhere there.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Because she was born and raised in San Antonio, and she had a really interesting... Let's go through her history first, Kevin. Is that all right with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so of course I'm not on the article, but she was born in San Antonio in forever ago.
You're not on the article?
Well, I am, but
doing
it's
it from memory?
forever ago. But she's still with us. She's still alive and well.
Yep.
And so, but the thing was she was born in San Antonio. She had parents that I don't know necessarily that they were losers, but they were unsupportive.
They were both alcoholics.
There you go.
Mom and dad were both alcoholics.
Yeah, and Grandma took care of Carol.
Yeah.
But both Mom and Dad were somehow related to show business. I do remember that in reading The Life and Times of Carol.
Yep.
And then Grandma definitely knew that Carol had potential and talent, so she got her fairly young from San Antonio to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. You keep going from there.
I don't know if that's why they moved to Hollywood, but
Okay.
they moved to Hollywood when she was young.
Right.
Very young.
Right. Okay.
She went to Hollywood High School, and then she also went to UCLA later on.
Okay.
And then she ultimately moved to New York, and she kind of hit it big on Broadway in 1959.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a show, Once Upon a Mattress. She was in that in 1959.
Received a Tony.
Got a Tony, which is huge. You know, she's got a fantastic voice. Mm-hmm. She's terribly funny and has got this great personality. And
She used to warm up her voice with the Tarzan thing.
is that how it happened?
Yeah, that was like her warm-up.
Oh, wow.
And then she did it, and then over the years in her TV show, she would always take questions from the audience, and someone would always ask her to do the Tarzan
Right,
thing.
right. That's a great warm-up.
Yeah, so supposedly that's how that started.
Can you do the Tarzan?
No.
We just gave everybody a heart attack.
Y'all both just like backed away from the table.
That's one of those drop the mic moments. I like that. Andrew.
Okay, let me try that again.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Well, no, that's
No,
good.
it's Carol.
I like that. But okay, so let's go through the early career. So she was on Broadway, but then she started on this Gary Moore show, and I'm not familiar with a Gary Moore show.
No.
But she was on that.
She got an Emmy for that, though.
Yeah, but it was one of those where she was a recurring character on that. She was on it for years, and it was one of these kind of sitcom comedy, Jack Pardee, whatever.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was. It was one of these where she got to kind of play around with getting her own skits and her own material together, and I think that's where she devised a lot of these comedy sketches, and she was so stinking funny. It was a variety show. So they'd have singers and bands and comedy gags and sketches and whatever, and that's how she kind of got her vaudeville roots. I guess. I don't know what vaudeville is, but whatever.
She came and appeared apparently there was something called Dallas State Fair musicals. She was Calamity Jane.
Oh.
On CBS.
Well, there's an interesting thing about the State Fair where there was a rift with the Texas State Fair, and there was a Dallas State Fair that competed.
Really?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I bet she was brought in as a headliner for the Dallas one.
Interesting. We should do an episode on State Fair sometime.
Huh. Interesting thought. That's the name. It's prequel.
Different topic. Wait. No. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
This is the prequel.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Whatever. Anyway, so Carol Burnett. So she got her experience. Obviously, if you can do Broadway and get a Tony in '59 for playing the lead character in Once Upon a Mattress, and Amy's seen that one. I've never seen that show because it's come back a couple of times on Broadway, and that's one of our favorite things to do. Amy's got that, and she knows every song on there, but I don't. But anyway, she did great there. So she got all her roots on the Gary Moore Show and Broadway and all that, and then she came to this deal where she struck a deal where she said, "Look, I'll do a variety show for you, but it's got to be." And somehow the deal was struck where she had a couple of years to come up with a number of shows, but she had carte blanche, control over the whole thing, and that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to come out, do the intro, she wanted to do Q&A at the end, and then she wanted to have her pals with her to do funny skits.
It was such a funny cast.
So great.
Tim Conway, Harvey Korman,
and Vicki Lawrence.
Vicki Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah, the four of them, but then you think that, which one was it? Tim Conway wasn't on there at the beginning as one of the four because they had this other, what was that other dude's name that was there before, and he was the kind of the funny guy, and then Tim Conway was a regular guest, and then he ended up replacing him once the other funny guy went on to.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Harvey Korman and Vicki Lawrence were always there with Carol, but then Tim Conway was kind of off and on at the beginning, and then he came on when, I'll remember.
Is this going to pass the fact checker? Are you 100% sure about all this?
Pretty sure.
Right.
But let's.
Because fact checker's I've been getting text messages the last couple of weeks.
Come on, bring it. I'll look it up at some point. But I'm fairly confident. So it's all good.
Well, the cool thing about it is they would intentionally try to crack each other up in front of the live audience. I mean, intentionally.
So actually getting into the show, once she got into the Carol Burnett Show, and that was an 11-season run, and a lot of people say that it was kind of it's really what set up Saturday Night Live for success, but I thought Saturday Night Live was going concurrent to that, because that was during the Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd days, wasn't it? When Carol Burnett was still going, or was that?
Her 11 seasons were from 67 to 78.
Okay.
I don't know when Saturday Night Live started.
Well,
I'll have to Google that real quick.
Okay. No, it was. I mean, think about it. So I was born in 69. You were 70, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were, little punks, but that's what I just remember watching the Carol Burnett Show, and then I remember watching reruns over and over. And what drives me crazy is I'll be flipping around on cable, and you know how you get on Guide and you're looking around for stuff to watch, and it'll say, "Oh, I can watch the Carol Burnett Show." I put it on there, and it's some infomercial that makes me pay like $200 just to get like all 11 seasons. I'm not going to do that.
That's dumb.
It is dumb.
Saturday Night Live started in 75.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of overlap.
Little overlap.
Yeah.
Okay, but people say that what she did really laid the framework for what Saturday Night Live could do. And
really?
I've never thought Saturday Night Live was really comparable to it.
Because
Carol Burnett
hers was slapstick. It was vaudeville style,
but it was pretty wholesome. Other than
Very
there was
wholesome.
kind of sexual innuendos in there left and right, which were funny. But anyway, I think Carol Burnett they laid the framework for Saturday Night Live, but they were much more raw, and especially those Joe Piscopo, Eddie Murphy years. You remember those?
Yeah,
because those were raw.
Yeah.
Even though I did like Eddie Murphy in the Kill My Landlord sketch. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Cill, My Landlord.
He was Mr. Robinson. Remember?
Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
It was like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It was Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
So great. Oh, my God. Okay, so
totally different. Totally different from Carol Burnett.
It felt different.
Yeah. It's kind of like seem like they're from different eras, really, even though they were both happening in the 70s.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so some of our favorite moments with the Carol Burnett Show, because again, I mean, I was an infant, you were an infant, but that's what our families watched. I mean, there were 3 channels, right?
Every Sunday night, I would watch that thing when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. It
Me
seems
too.
like it was on Sunday nights for some reason.
Yeah.
I would watch it every single week.
Oh, and it was
religiously.
And I just remember Mom and Dad just cackling, laughing. Yeah. Of course, there was probably adult humor in there that I didn't fully get.
Yeah.
But loved it. By the way,
I loved the way they would just set each other up.
They would.
Some of it was improv, but some of it was like
they knew.
They would secretly write lines that they knew would trip up the other person, and especially Tim Conway would do that a lot.
Oh, Tim Conway
and they would
just
be sitting there on stage. I mean, there's so many where they're on stage and Harvey Korman just can't stop laughing, right? And they're just literally sitting there laughing,
and they're just and it's on the whole time, and until he gets it together, and the audience is just because there was this was one where there was truly a live audience.
There was a live audience,
which was great, and they just hammed it up when Harvey Korman was just cracking up at Tim Conway, and then the other one was Vicki Lawrence would do that to Carol.
Oh yeah, I've got an example of that from Mama's Family
where she
just let me set this one up first.
Sure.
This is one where I had not heard of this one. This is some skit where they're supposedly married and they're trying to sell a house.
Okay.
And before the skit, Carol Burnett comes out and talks to the audience, and she says this.
Harvey Korman, the reason I'm talking so low is I don't want him to hear me. He's backstage now, and he thinks I'm just coming out, do something else. And all week we've been rehearsing this sketch one way, and we're going to throw him a curve now. And at the end of the sketch, I'm supposed to come out of this kitchen. When he calls me, he bends over like this and says, Carol, and I'm supposed to come out and hit him in the head with the door, and that's the end of the sketch. And tonight I'm not going to do it. We just want to see what he does. So remember, when he comes over and bends over, like, I'm not going to hit.
It's so great because the audience is totally in on it.
They're in on it.
Yeah, so then here's the clip of where it happens.
I don't want your sympathy, Carol. I'm a grown man, and I'll take my punishment like a grown man.
I'll mix you a drink, Roger.
I don't want it! And you, Laffy! Get into the kitchen and stay there until I call you, all right?
So it's coming?
And she looks at the audience. That's why the audience is laughing, because they know.
So
Carol! Carol!
This is it.
Give it to me, baby!
So I wish you could see it because he's bent over in the 90-degree angle with his head in front of this door, right? And he's saying, Carol, and she's supposed to open it. And he's just standing there like an idiot. And then he says, Carol, nothing. So then he kind of improvises, give it to me, baby. You know, wanting to bust him in the head.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she opens the door the other way and steps out, and then he figures out what's going on. He literally laid down on the stage laughing.
Oh, that's so great.
That's the kind of stuff they would do to each other.
Yeah.
In front of the audience. And then a lot of that some of it would make it onto the show. Not a lot of it, but
okay.
It is so good.
Do you have either one of either the dentist or the Mama's Family where...
Oh, I got them both.
Okay, because Tim Conway would do that to Harvey Korman, and the dentist one in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. If you get that, I'd
I got it.
I'd
We'll
love
play
to hear
the dentist right here.
Okay.
Well, I got two from the dentist. One is when he's trying to figure out what to do. Then the second's when he ends up. This is the first one.
Okay.
All right, here. Okay, now let's see. You want to pull your tooth out. P.
So he's looking up in a book how to pull a tooth out. Harvey Korman's sitting near the chair, trying not to laugh.
T-O-T-H. We are. Pull your tooth out. Boy, this is going to hurt.
And he gets into this.
Doctor, if it's going to hurt, please give me something to kill the pain.
Yeah, okay, well, got some Novocaine right here. Just Hold on then, Mel. Let's see how this works.
He gives him the needle to hold on to.
Okay, Novocaine. Here we are, Novocaine. Take a firm hold of the hypodermic needle. Right.
And he just grabbed the needle at the top of his hand and it stuck in his hand. So now his hand's numb. He's like...
There'll be a little bit of pain, and then numbness will set in.
And Harvey Korman is just trying not to die. Yeah.
He's not very good at that.
And now he's flipping pages of the book with his
With his numb hand.
his numb hand.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess we'll get right to it.
And then he stabs himself in the leg, and then his leg is numb too.
So great. Oh my gosh, it's so great. Well, yeah, watching Harvey Korman try not to laugh was probably one of my favorite things in the whole show.
Now, there's a famous one. You ask about the family skits also with Mama. And,
With Mama's family.
So there's a famous one where Vicki Lawrence goes after Eunice, telling her that she's crazy.
Uh-huh.
And she had made up a bunch of different lines. Carol didn't know what she was going to say.
Okay.
Right? And the cool thing about this is there's two clips of this, and each time she does something totally different. And in the second one, Carol Burnett can't even face the camera; she's dying.
Yeah,
laughing so hard.
I've seen that where Carol Burnett's facing away from Vicki Lawrence because she can't even look at her.
Yes, that's the second one. And there's two versions of this thing.
Okay.
And each time they're so different, Carol Burnett just can't handle it. So I think this is one of them. Let me try this.
Okay.
It's your move, Eunice.
It's my move. You want to see a move? How's this for a move, Ed? How's this for your...
So they were playing a game of Sorry.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
Eunice just goes nuts and starts tearing up all the pillows.
You are really nuts, you know? Nuts? One of these days they're gonna come over here and lock you up.
Oh, lay off of me,
You
will
ain't
ya?
playing with a full deck, Eunice.
This is where she goes
I
off.
think somebody blew your pilot light out.
Right there. Carol had no idea she was saying that. And you can tell these extended periods of audience laughter.
Yeah. Because Carol's laughing.
Yeah, because they don't know, she don't know what to
That's a
say.
new one, Mama.
That's a new one, Mama.
You wait, there's more, Eunice.
There's more.
You know what? You got splinters in the windmills of your mind.
Oh, I could use that on some people.
You're playing hockey with a warped puck.
Will you cut it out?
She says,
Enough mess without throwing junk all around. Look at that, how you keep house. Look at the filth around here. Don't you forget out the vacuum cleaner I gave you.
Oh, cut it out.
Now, you used to pull the same trick with her sister Ellen. What?
all right, that goes on and on. So here's the second version of that. Same scene, but
same-
Mama has completely different lines. And this is the one where Carol Burnett just loses it. She can't look at the camera.
Okay.
That's for a move, you two.
You are really nuts, you know it?
Here she goes.
One of these days they're gonna come over here and just lock you up.
You lay off of me.
You aren't playing with full deck, Eunice. I think you done sprung a leak in your dinghy.
Sprung a leak in your dinghy.
What is the problem, Eunice? Is it your time of month or something? You ride the car?
I bet that didn't make it.
This is the one where Carol can't even face the camera anymore.
Look at me, Eunice.
She says, look at me. She can't look at me.
Oh, my goodness.
You got any more of those, Mama? You better say them now.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. Hey, I did go back and I found the original guy was a guy named Lyle Wagner.
Oh, yeah. He was on there for a while.
He was.
Yeah.
He was on there for a long time.
He was the dark head.
He was.
guy.
A real good looking fella.
So he
and
was the original cast member.
He
and
was
Tim
there-
Conway was not.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
interesting.
That's right.
Very
So, and Lyle was, and then he ended up going on to some other program that he got an opportunity for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's another one of these on Mama's, and this is with Tim Conway, where he's they're sitting on a couch.
And what was his role in? Was he the dad or
his name was Mickey? No, he was like the so politically incorrect now, but he was just a very simple-minded friend of Eunice's husband.
Okay,
his name was Mickey.
Okay,
look up his picture and you'll because he always wore a cap with the brim, and I think he had a hearing aid all the time, and just all this.
Totally inappropriate.
So there's this scene where they're sitting on the couch in Mama's house, and Tim Conway has a certain line that he has to say that gives Carol Burnett a prompt to then say her line.
Okay.
But they're sitting on this couch, and it's Carol Burnett and Vicki Lawrence, and then Dick Van Dyke is on this episode, and he's sitting on the arm of the couch over here, and then Mickey's on the other arm.
Okay.
And Tim Conroy refuses to, instead of saying his line, he tells this weird story about this elephant and the circus and all this stuff. And they can't get their lines out, and they can't stop laughing.
Oh, gosh.
And he won't stop. He will not let him off the hook, and it just goes on. And then there's 2 takes of this, and the second one is just hilarious. So I'll play this real quick. Okay. And you got to picture them sitting on the couch, and they all have their faces covered and their heads down because they cannot stop laughing.
Okay, fine.
This elephant had this little dwarf trainer, and just used to put a little ballerina skirt on that elephant.
And this is where they're just like,
what's he doing?
Go around circling like that. I thought it was so laughable at the time. There's a rumor going around the circus that that dwarf and the elephant were lovers.
Oh my gosh. So clearly they're all laughing.
Yeah. And he won't give up the
the mic.
Carol Burnett can't say her next line.
Obviously the audience likes this one.
Elephant squashed him.
The elephant squashed him.
Oh my.
Now here's a second take of this.
Okay.
And Mama's answer at the very end is totally improvised. And it just everybody falls off the couch at the end.
They shoot the elephant.
They had to shoot the elephant because he squashed his little miniature lover. Okay, I think the second.
I don't know whether it's because of rumor or not, but they're buried together.
he won't shut up.
Great big tombstone.
Okay.
It's not elephants.
Here's the next one. Totally different story.
I was at this freak show one time, and I saw these Siamese elephants.
Now it's Siamese elephants.
So the audience knows now. He's going in a different direction.
Totally different direction. And they're just laughing at Carol and Vicki and Dick Van Dyke trying not to fall off the couch. That's what is so funny here.
Oh, my gosh.
But you got to get to the end on this one.
They was joined at the end.
Siamese elephants joined at the trunk.
Oh. Oh, gosh.
Joined at the end of their trunks like that. And this trainer make them stand up on their back feet like that, and they had their trunks stretched like that. Then this little monkey had come out.
Monkey?
Walk out there and dance some merengue right out there. I kind of felt sorry for them. They couldn't go like the other elephants when they go. All they could do is just blow and go north.
eyes get real big.
Go on, Mama. Sure that little asshole's through.
Oh my gosh.
That was a made-up line because Dick
I'm
Van
sure.
Dyke fell off the couch and Tim Conway fell off the couch too. They were rolling around the floor.
Oh gosh.
So after 2 takes with those long stories, that was her response.
Oh my gosh.
You sure that little asshole's through?
That's so great. Now, I will say probably my favorite duo on that show was Mrs. Wiggins and
Mr. Tudball.
Mr. Tudball.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But Mrs. Wiggins, that was Carol Burnett, and she had a great big old butt. And she kind of stuck her, and I even remember seeing an interview of her after this where she said that she had to kind of bend over and stick her bottom way up, and then they stuffed it with a pillow.
Oh, did they really stuff it in there? Yeah.
And then his walk was hilarious because he did that old man shuffle, but it was literally like an inch at a time.
And then his voice and his
Mrs.
accent
Wiggins.
was so weird. Yeah. So I got a little bit of that on
Yeah,
here.
where
See
he
what we
calls
got
her
here.
over the intercom.
Yeah, I got the intercom thing here.
Oh my goodness.
Mrs. Wiggins, I wonder if you could come in here now. I'd like to dictate a letter to you.
Dictate the letter. She's sitting right next to him,
There's a glass window
in between them.
Yeah.
And she
She can't work the intercom.
Mrs. Wiggins, I wonder if you could come in.
Hello?
Mrs. Wiggins, I wonder if
Hello?
Mrs. Wiggins, I wonder
Hello,
if you...
hello?
Mrs. Wiggins, don't press down on your button when I'm talking. 'cause
Hello?
then
And it goes on and on.
Oh my gosh! But him walking to her and then her walking to him, just their physical humor is
And
hilarious.
she was just a space cadet.
She
too.
was.
That was the whole character on that.
Dumb as a box of rocks. That's right. It was so funny. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
By far, those were my favorite. And then she had another one that was super popular, and it was the parody on Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
Where it was Went with the Wind, and you remember Scarlett coming down to Rhett Butler, and she had the beautiful green dress on that was made out of, and I just watched this.
I think it was made out of the curtains.
It was made out of these velvety green curtains because
Right.
she was so ashamed that she, wartime and whatever, Civil
Right.
War, she couldn't have any nice dress, but she wanted to look good, and they made it out of these curtains. Well, anyway, that was a big deal, and in Carol Burnett. So
Well, in the Carol Burnett version, she comes
literally
down
just-
and the curtain rod is
sticking out from her shoulders.
From her shoulders, yeah.
and Harvey Korman
Yeah.
plays the.
And
yeah.
this is, I got that line here.
Okay.
Greatest response ever. So she's,
What brings you to Terra?
You vixen, you.
Vixen.
I love you. That gown is gorgeous.
Thank you. I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist it.
saw it in the window.
So great.
But I saw a documentary or something on that episode, or an interview with Carol Burnett. I can't remember what it was. And someone that was working for them had, been involved in the original production of Gone
Oh,
with the Wind.
really?
Yeah, and knew all the scenes
Oh.
and had it down.
Wow.
And so this person helped create this thing, and this was a 20-minute long skit.
Oh.
So the whole episode that week, I think, was just this one special.
Wow.
And they aired it at a time when they were re-releasing Gone with the Wind. There was it was a big year. I can't remember which year it was, but they were re-releasing it or something out on the video.
Yeah.
And it was just all in the news, big deal. So they did their own 20-minute Went with the Wind version.
Wow. Let me ask you, I already think I know the answer to this, but have you ever watched Gone with the Wind?
I've watched it a couple of times, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was, I never got super interested in it, but it was one of Kendra's favorite movies growing up.
No,
And we had it on DVD, and then we had the color version. And all
Oh,
that.
really?
Mhm.
Yeah, I just watched it probably 6 months ago in its entirety, and it still holds.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting just because, it's not politically correct at all, but it shows the love of the South and all. Anyway, it was just really interesting. But going back to Carol Burnett. Okay, so let's wrap up.
Well, a couple of points before we kind of close it out.
Yeah.
Number one, she was very innovative as a woman.
Yes.
Right? Because she got started back in the 50s, and she was doing stand-up back in the 50s when women weren't really doing that.
No, but she also was BFFs with Lucille Ball.
Yes.
And that was so sweet. When I told you before, this Texas Monthly article that was written about Carol Burnett talks about her early days, and the day that – and so Lucy was good friends with Carol Burnett, and so she would send her flowers every year on Carol's birthday, and she even sent her flowers on the day that Lucy died. Later that day, flowers showed up at Carol Burnett for her birthday, and that's sweet.
Crazy.
So sweet.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So there's an article with the top groundbreaking female comedians of all time.
Yeah.
Joan Rivers is on here, Lucille Ball.
Right.
They have Carol Burnett as number one.
I believe
on that list.
I believe it.
And then the other one, she won and there's an article in the Texas Monthly about this. She won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Golden Globes. She won the first one.
Really?
For this particular
genre?
Special Achievement Award. And now that award is named after her. So it's the Carol Burnett Award. And then they give this out like every year.
So great.
So yeah.
Well,
impact.
she was instrumental to me just in my growing up years where I just loved watching them. Mm-hmm. So it was the Carol Burnett Show, Fantasy Island, Love Boat, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
And then the regular, like Wheel of Fortune and remember The Love Connection? You remember that one?
I didn't watch that one too much.
No, we did.
I remember it.
It was so creepy. That guy kissed every girl.
Family Feud, the guy kissed everybody on the lips.
So did the other guy.
Richard Dawson.
Yeah, he did. Right on the lips. So weird.
This was before the hashtag Me Too.
It was.
He was the greatest offender of that.
I think so, but he kissed them all. So, all right, well, but I enjoyed it.
One other thing, she always took questions at the end of the show.
She did.
And I always thought that was really cool. And now Seinfeld does that. Seinfeld, at the end of his shows, will take audience questions. Okay. And we saw him in New York a few weeks ago.
Right.
Well, a couple months ago.
Right.
And we were in a small venue, and he took questions there, too. And I saw him say one time that he learned that from watching the Carol Burnett Show. She always did that. And
I will say,
he kind of has picked that up.
I will say, her parting scene, she always sang this one song, It's So Nice to Be Together, that song. But she would always do that tug on her left ear. And that was always her sign to her grandmother that she loved her.
I didn't know that.
And
I forgot about that.
So sweet. She would always do that at the end of every show. And it was just to honor her grandmother.
That's crazy.
So sweet. So sweet.
Now we know why. Her grandmother basically raised her.
She did.
Gave her everything she got.
She did.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Okay. Hey, thanks, y'all. Appreciate you listening to us ramble on Carol Burnett.
Yep, look us up out there on iTunes, Spreaker, Google Play. Give us a review. Adios.
Adios.